Do, do,
There we
do.
go. We're all lined up perfect too. Great.
Oh,
Uh,
I was gonna say if you could put the logos on Finn and Claire
I
for
know,
their
but yeah,
characters.
I didn't have enough time to switch it over because I found out right before. But it
I
is
have to
welcome to
see.
Castle Run. I'm your DM, Elijah Goodall. Pronouns they them, and we are two people short tonight, so we're playing with a smaller crew, which also means that now our alphabetical order is all. I guess it's not screwed up for me. I can help everyone out. So we're gonna go around and everyone give a real quick introduction to their character,
Yes.
starting with
Hey,
Atticus. Still, yeah.
my name is Sean. Pronouns he, him, and I'm playing Atticus Phoenix. They are just a tiny 6'10", 6'11". Just
Brag.
rippling muscles, sweat, like sweeping blonde hair, a beautiful illusion mustache at this point, but with some real stubble under it. They hail from an ancient family, one of the oldest in the realms, and they are looking to, right now, I guess, just wander and be a knight and set things right. Yeah.
Tell me, Atticus, in the 1,000 years that Atticus has been alive, uh, what is a hobby that Atticus picked up somewhere along the way that has absolutely nothing to do with any of any of his knighthood, any of his adventures? It's just a
Mm,
little thing that he does for himself.
yeah. Atticus is, you know what? He's really into making soap when he can. Um, he has
Oh my
learned that it is a
god.
valuable
Yes.
tool, and he is a purveyor of fine scents and perfumes. And
Big fan of Fight Club also.
yeah, yeah, big fan of of the 1999 film Fight Club, directed by
Has
David Fincher.
Atticus just been collecting fat from his enemies then?
Oh
No,
god.
no, he doesn't go that far. But if he does kill, say, an exotic monster of some sorts, he definitely will want to collect fat to make a candle out of that, and then hit the like perfume district or the arts district and buy some potpourri and some other nice things to make some candles.
Atticus is going to turn into the villain from the movie Perfume.
Oh god.
That's what I based him off of, actually, and you just ruined the entire reveal.
The whole arc.
I'm going to go now.
We had so
Shut it
much
down.
planned for.
Yeah, that
Well,
arc is scrap now.
all right. Yeah, I'm shutting down the stream. Uh, with
Oh, the big reveal, what is Castile run? It's all about Castile soap.
Damn it.
and
There it
there it
is.
is.
End it.
We peaked.
Campaign over.
Bye everyone.
It was fun. It was fun.
With let's see, Fauna's gone, Maury's gone. That takes us straight to Nyx.
I'm June, and I play Nick Loon. Both mine and their pronouns are she, they. And Nyx is the very, very long forgotten prime of the Court of Night. They were previously held in an enchanted locket, only let out to be hang out with Etheria or to run assassinations for the Night Guard and Balak and probably various other holders of the locket. And they've been freed from that by the party and now owe the party a life debt, which is getting steadily shorter as we continue. And I think they're mostly just trying to figure out who they are because they still have a lot of memory loss, a lot of years lost, and what's next for them.
Tell me, when Nyx was very small, I think probably between the ages of 5 and 8, what was their favorite? You know, you lived in the Nightlands in the enormous tower right next to the sea. Did did young Nix prefer to play near the ocean, on the shore, or more in the forests and hills of the Nightlands?
I think definitely a mix of like ocean and shore, more tide pools, specifically tide pools at night when it's low tide,
Perfect. Yeah.
and just using the moon and watching all like the little critters. And I think they would just explore along the rocks there for hours and hours until they would get called in.
I love that. Okay. That brings us to Perrin.
I am Tyler James. I play Perrin. Both of our pronouns are he, him. Perrin is our bardic ranger who is now a knight of the Phoenix. He is a newly minted squire. He is Fauna's adopted father. He is Atticus's adopted squire. He is Vox's sort of mom's friend, and potentially Marty's nemesis. And the big reveal is that he's Bert's biological father. We've discussed that a few times, but that's real.
Oh,
Real
boy.
true facts.
Uh,
But to be clear, it was by
Roll
spore.
deception.
He sporically spawned a spore that grew into a toad.
somehow that makes it worse.
I rolled a
think.
22 on deception.
So
Well, I believe it.
this is like that sitcom My Two Dads now.
Yeah.
Because I'm his adopted father. You're his biological
Right.
father.
You think you're his adopted father. You haven't actually met the real Bert. Gasp.
The reveals are happening early in this session.
You've just met the mech suit that the real Bert wears.
For Perrin, I don't want to ask a question with these that goes too in depth.
Oh man, I would hate to answer an in-depth
You-
question.
you
We all know
sure,
I hate
sure.
interacting and talking.
For Perrin, Perrin's been around, let's see, in the continent of Namira for 200 years now, after leaving the Feywild. There have been a few times in Perrin's life where he settled down. We know about one of them after bringing the twins Flora and Fauna to the Evewood Coven. You made that your home for a few happy years. What before then did at some point I think Perrin would have spent time trying to make a life for himself in Namira in one of the larger cities. What would Perrin's day-to-day life have looked like in a city?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As
so,
opposed to like hermiting out in the
yeah. I think there was a time where Perrin wasn't trying to just wander. He wasn't just a ranger, but I think he's always had a connection to certain elements of life that are familiar. And I think Perrin ran this is a little known fact. Perrin ran a very successful line of taverns. They opened 2 locations, which is the most any chain of taverns has ever opened. He invented chain restaurants. Yeah, and it was called Applebee's. And he made apple honey cider, and that was kind of their big get as a just in tune with nature. So he tended to the bees, he tended to his apple trees, he fermented more than enough for their regularly occurring customers. They had their app menu, mozzarella sticks. It was great. So that was Perrin's like big thing. That was his
Yeah.
big success. And I think honestly, that's why Perrin drinks, is because that's his big success. And that's like
Yeah.
kind of
And they have
upsetting.
dollar margaritas. Come on.
Whoa, no,
Yeah,
that's a
Apple- yeah.
copyrighted real life thing that has nothing to do with this role play that I'm
We want to
describing.
make we
This
want
is
to make
a-
it clear.
There
At
is-
no
Atticus-
point in this game have we ever offered dollar
Was it-
margaritas.
Atticus was a big fan of Applebee's, but got food poisoning from it one time and never went back.
Yeah,
Hey.
you know that's fair.
Yeah,
Applebee's. When
he's
you're
got a
here,
sensitive
you're
stomach
here.
though. So, yeah,
When you're here, you are in fact here. Yeah, that was their slogan. When you're here, you're here.
When you're here, you're here.
So that was Perrin. That is why Perrin started drinking. Actually, was taste testing that honey
Beautiful.
cider, and then and then he burned it down for the insurance money.
All of them.
There was only 2.
Well, still like at that same night.
Look,
Hey, listen.
there
This
was
is
a freak lightning storm.
you're
and,
writing some checks for me to cash right now. So I'm
Yeah.
just yeah.
What's really wild? He owned the insurance company too.
Super
Oh,
Lemon
God.
Haze 93 said, "Wait, Canadian here, are dollar margaritas an actual thing?" And yes,
Yeah.
they are. And
Yes, they are.
It's insane at the IRL Applebee's when that
I
happens.
actually ended up in Mexico after a night of dollar margaritas at
If-
Applebee's.
If you can spend $100 on dollar margaritas at the bottom of the 100th class, there is a portal that you can go into and you will appear in Guadalajara, Mexico.
That's
Yeah.
just called blacking out.
Yeah.
That's
No, it's a
exactly
portal.
what
I've
happened to me.
seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Perrin ran a 2-tavern chain restaurant, and it burned down under mysterious circumstances that I'm sure Elijah won't use for story reveals
No,
of some
never.
haunting
And I
meeting.
definitely won't
with-
turn it into a big emotional. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Just let me make a note. Applebee's Taverns burned to the ground.
Their logo, to be clear, it was
Who-
not Applebee's one word. It was Apple and Bees.
Yes, Apple
So
and
it's
Bees.
ju- yeah.
Who was inside?
It's an apple with a stinger and wings on it.
Great. But is it one giant bee in the apple, or is it an apple? Never mind. We're getting too far into it. To finish us up, Vox, go for it.
How do I even compare to that? Wow.
Let's go in a less
hi.
absurd direction. Yeah.
I can make so few promises. Hi, I'm Q. I play Vox, both pronouns she, her. Vox is a pretty young, actually, half-elf rogue who's kind of getting over some family trauma right now and kind of growing into herself, and I think becoming more protective of the people that surround her after losing them once before and just not wanting to lose anything else. So we'll see which direction that goes.
I have high hopes. When Vox was very young, she got the nickname Little Tornado from her mother, which became something that your mother Eva calls you, your father Taryn used to call you, your uncle Theon will refer to you as. What was the spectacular amount of chaos you caused as a very small child, maybe even a toddler, to receive that nickname the first time that you did?
Ooh, I think that it probably is a little bit of some undiagnosed ADHD, as Vox is, and probably had a dog over, not even her dog, but lost her mind and tried to like pretend it was a horse and like mount this dog, and this dog just freaked out, and her mom was in the kitchen and there was just like Vox holding on to a shrieking dog trying to shake her off, but like wanting to prove a point that she was big and grown and could do this. and people were just running and chasing after her in the house, and probably a whole bunch of antiques were broken that day. But
Well, I think at the end of it all, uh, your mother Eva was probably a little less happy and a little less amused than maybe your father and uncle were.
yeah, and that's also why they voted not to get Vox any pets. So Vox had no pets growing up.
Well, your party has no short
Many pets.
supply of. I guess if they're all talking and that don't really qualify as pets anymore, they're just pet shaped.
Yes, yes, but nothing was really pet shaped to Vox. Everything was like, this is a horse. That dog, that's a horse. The cat, she has no clue what to do with that. She's looking at it like, yours is so small. What do I do with you?
Okay. Well, that's our introductions. We're going to get right into it. When last we left the group, you were all getting ready for a well-deserved long rest at Olisander Estates, your new, at least for now, temporary headquarters to right some wrongs, figure out how to reestablish some kind of governing system in the absence of having a regent in Asparia, and maybe overthrow a power structure or two while you're at it. But as we left you all about to head for your long rest, I think one of the last things, I mean, other than pledging, Perrin pledging knighthood and then joining in with him, is the inheritor of Olisander Estates, Orin Olisander, as well as all the automatons in Olisander Estates pledging to become Knights of the Phoenix. We also left Atticus chasing down a friend and old flame, Burgent Fellhammer, as he left the chamber a little early with a bottle of wine and looking maybe a little downtrodden, not having seen Atticus in some time until you showed up in the Sundering Hearth at his forge a day, 2 days ago now, I think.
Already caused havoc
Yeah.
in town. Yeah.
And that is where we're going to pick up. So everyone's getting the benefits of a long rest. It is part of your sort of you've each been provided your own quarters within the Olisander estate. There's certainly plenty of room.
How many dollars worth of quarters are we getting?
I would say probably, what with inflation being what it is now, and 3. I don't know why I just ate an almond. That was such a bad idea.
Such a bad mic drop.
I was stress eating almonds trying to figure out what the inflation rate would be. But as part of the long rest, we're just going to kind of like take a peek basically at what everyone is doing during their downtime also, in addition to the rest. And I think we're going to look in first on Perrin, newly sworn in to become a Knight of the Phoenix. What does Perrin do as he prepares to, or after taking long rest?
Yeah, I mean, presumably he's gonna make sure that Fauna gets everything she needs, like gets her a glass of water, like maybe some warm milk. He's gonna overly fuss over Fauna for a little bit, and then I think he's gonna kind of get the lay of the land of this house. He's not really interested in books, treasures, that sort of thing. He's just gonna kind of get an idea of like kind of the layout, passageways, sightlines, things like that, because he's gonna try to come up with some kind of like 3-point routine where he feels like he gets a pretty good percentage of sight lines for the area around. He's going to do that with Amos. He might even conscript the cat if the cat is out wandering, since everybody else is kind of headed to bed.
I think
and
the
know
cat specifically was out wandering. Make me a perception
Yeah.
check real quick to see if you see the cat wandering around.
With advantage because you have warm milk.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'll let it. I'll.
21.
That is a.
Perrin cast animal friendship by giving some warm milk to the cat, but just a little bit, not enough to upset his
Yeah, I
tummy.
think the cat rolled a 3 on its. I mean, I guess it rolls stealth checks with it. I don't. You know what? This is not. The cat smells the warm milk. Like the cat is coming.
The black cat needs to be hiding, but he's hiding behind like in front of an all white surface, and he's like thinks that he's completely hidden, but he is not.
Yeah, cat's gonna pat over.
Hey, cat, come over here.
Yeah. Okay. I forget that we can talk.
No, it's all right. Drink
now
this.
like this. Okay. Yeah. I mean, well,
It's rude to eat and talk at the same time. That's on you. I'm glad you've been taking care of Fauna. I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but it seems like you have kind of figured out that she needed help, and I really appreciate that you have been there for her.
Oh. I mean, Fauna takes care of me. I guess I'd never really thought about it.
Yeah.
That way.
No, I mean it's kind of like I would be a wreck without Amos lately. Like I sometimes these things just happen. Yeah. The bird. Don't eat the bird.
Make me an insight check.
To be clear, I'm
yeah. Make me an insight check right now.
14.
The cat is magical in nature, but not because the cat started out as being part of being a witch's familiar is over time just be the intelligence grows, the ability to understand the world around you through your witches or your partner's eyes. The idea of taking care of each other, I think for a cat, even for one as conscious, as intelligent as the cat is, that idea of you also taking care of the person that takes care of you just by your presence, this is a new idea to introduce. It's a new idea for the cat, certainly, to be introduced to. And I think very uncharacteristically, the cat, keeps, but stays quiet. You can tell is just sort of mulling over this thought as it.
Yep. I know it matters. It matters to me. So like I said, I wanted to say thank you and just leave the bird out of it. You don't need to eat that. You'll be eating good in the neighborhood, so don't worry about that. Sorry, old memories,
Hey, yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna, you're all sleep. I'm gonna go explore.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm setting up some sight lines. Do you know about sight lines? Like, has anyone ever given you tactical training?
Tactical, no.
Okay. I wonder if Atticus would train a cat.
Is it anything?
Okay.
Is it like chores? Because
it's not like chores. It's like not dying. Do you know about not dying?
I do. Yeah, I do appreciate that.
Right. So basically, what
I have a
I'm
little
gonna
bit of leeway. I'm at 9 lives and all. But
how many do you have left?
Ooh.
I died like 65 times recently.
Bad luck to we don't. You don't talk about.
You don't talk. Oh, should I not talk about? Is that why I keep dying?
I mean, I'm not gonna tell you your business, but
that's a huge. Wow. Got to do some reflection about that. But later, that's inconvenient to think about feelings. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these tall windows here on the stairwells, and I'm getting cat, look at me, cat, 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 cat,
Yeah.
cat, cat, cat.
Yeah.
These long windows here, and I'm looking at the roadways and the passageways coming up here. All right. So what you can do is you can go the opposite way as me, and if you see anything, shout for the bird. And by shout, I mean like make a really loud, weird sound. Like make a sound that sounds like a cat would make it, but it's not a meow.
So
But it's
you want
weirder than that.
me to go in a different direction from you and do
Yeah.
something, but you won't be able to see me.
Right.
Because we're going to... Okay, yeah, cool.
Yep.
No problem.
And what's the loud sound you're going to make if you see something scary? That's just a normal... No, it's got to be... That's a normal cat sound. Everyone's just going to be like, there's a cat. You have to make an abnormal sound that doesn't sound like a cat that is safe and comfortable. You have to make a sound like...
All I can make is cat sounds. I'm making cat sounds right now. You're just here. I don't know what you do. I know that I just talk to Fauna in her mind. So this is a new experience for me. I'm talking the way that I would usually talk.
Right. That's kind of rude
So
of
I'm just
me.
talking louder.
That's on me. That's on me. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So find the bird and then just like meow at it intensely. Amos, you got that?
Yeah. Oh, we did. Yeah, Amos is right there. You didn't send Amos off. Amos
Right.
can sleepily wait. Yeah. Sure. That's.
You're good, Amos?
I'm good if he's good.
Right. Kat, are you good?
I'm good. Won't he?
Amos,
won't the
you're
bird?
good.
Hey,
You're all right, though.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
I think we've established that everyone's all right, Perrin.
Getting cut off. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go patrol for a while. Elves do this thing where they kind of walk in a trance. So if you don't notice me like responding to you, don't worry about it. It's kind of like cats. We're kind of similar that way.
Similar. Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll meet you back here.
All right.
Okay. And the cat's going to pad away. All right, so
Karen
you're
is
setting.
also gonna pat away.
Yeah, you're setting up that in your downtime.
While Perrin goes, he's just gonna kind of look for anything. Like I said, he's not gonna look at books. He's not gonna look at that, but he's just gonna keep an eye out for anything unusual, interesting, threatening.
Yes. Let me. Yes, that is the one that I want on here. Nyx. What do we find Nyx doing as part of their downtime?
I think after getting a long rest, potentially even before, they would try and locate any kind of like bathhouse in the quarters, any kind of like tub, and scrub off who knows how much like accumulated road dirt and crusted blood and
No small amount.
yeah. But while doing this, they're going to take extra precautions that like nobody knows where they are. They're like doubly bolted in, they've never taken their hood off, much less like their clothes off in front of anybody.
Yeah.
And so
for sure your quarters are going to be provided, I mean, obviously with locks on the door. You can also, if you want to make sure, you can either do a stealth check or you can just do a perception check on your way to your quarters to make sure that you're not being followed or observed.
even automatrons or automatons, whatever they are. I always add in the tron there. It's a high one. I'm trying to find my modifier here. 1 second. But about 22.
Okay, cool. For stealth or perception?
Perception. I can do stealth as well. But that's a nat 20. And if I add in all my other stuff, that's going to be really, really high. But I will save you on that.
This is great, actually. So not only you don't observe anyone following you back to your quarters, you arrive at your quarters, bolt the doors. The bathhouse, you see that your room is equipped. It's this again. It's that. It's more marble in a lot of these estates, so less the sandstone and more. It's very smooth. There's a lot of not texture, but that kind of what's the right word? Just different colored facets that run through the tile. Extravagantly furnished, enormous beds, lounging sofas, all manner of fine furnishings in your quarter. And over in the corner, there is sort of a large square bath. It's just, you can kind of walk right into it because it's just a big depression in the floor itself.
Relatable.
Yeah. And there are some very large, you notice, at least in your particular room, there are some very large skylights. However, it is, unfortunately for you, it's the middle of so you're not getting any moonlight through them.
Yeah.
But there's kind of these pulley systems that you can use to draw shades over the skylights as well and kind of leave your room draped in. The curtains are also red, so
they'd want it dark.
This rosy tint to the room.
They'd pull the curtains and
okay.
I think draw a bath.
Yeah. Let me, with that nat 20 stealth check too, before we talk about this, tell me, when Nyx went up to level 7, did you end up taking Ancestral Guardians as a...
I think I did. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's think not Ancestral Guardians because that's not in there, but I think it's gonna have to double check in my spell book, but I think it's Guardian of Faith.
Guardian of Faith, that's what it was. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yep. Then on that nat 20 stealth check, I'm going to tell you what happens. This might be establishing a little bit of a canon thing, maybe, for whenever you roll a nat 20 on stealth, because I think for Nyx, pulling the shadow around yourself the way that you do, your stealth is so high it becomes like a magic unto itself. So as you slip away to your quarters, wrapping shadow around yourself, weaving it in as you walk down the halls, you enter your quarters, draw the shades, and even with the dim rosy light coming through the shades from the sun outside, there are still shadows in this room. And almost unconsciously you pull those shadows as they begin to spread even into places where the sunlight should be, until the room grows dark. And instead of a rose, it's now tinted with the blue-white glow of moonlight. And as you go to relax into the bath, because you have Guardian of Faith, even though you're not casting it, I will tell you now that when your Guardian of Faith appears, they're going to appear every time the way that they do now, in the shadow. And from out of the shadow, you see almost this dim, wavering, half silhouette of a figure. It almost seems to be made out of the moonlight that you've brought into this space. And with your memories back, you don't have to make a roll. You've remembered speaking with this figure before. You see the waxing knight step forward to you. No helmet now. Her hair in long braids that go down past her shoulders. Similar of that black and gold owing to the cloak and leather that you have underneath, but it's actual armor, so it's plated. Steps forward out of the shadow.
The smell of petrichor begins to betray you every time.
And I wonder, what betrays you?
These days, quite a lot. Especially my own mind.
But you remember now who you are.
You know, it's the first time I've spoken it aloud, I think. Nyx Loon.
Good. Then you are ready to know more. What do you remember of the things that I taught you?
I remember how to fight, how to disappear, how to watch and wait and pick your moments, how to read people.
And have you also remembered how to trust them?
There hasn't been much room for trust in my life lately, or what I can remember of it. Hasn't been rewarded, it hasn't been required. But I think I remember trusting you.
Well then, if I am the first member of your court made anew, my prime, it would be fitting for us to gather more, I think. There is a war coming, Your Majesty, between every good thing willing to stand and fight, and a wave of darkness that threatens to extinguish all light from this world.
Do you know where it's coming from? Or is that mine to discover?
I think you know exactly where it is coming from, my prime. You can go ahead and give me an insight check.
8.
8.
What's my 12 with my...
Okay, great. Yeah, 12. Yeah. She's talking about the Nightlands. The Lord of Broken Light will bring a wave to this world that will swallow everything if he is not stopped.
The Lord of Broken Light rules over land that is not his.
For now, you must remind him that it is yours. You're a child of the moon, Nixloon. You were born to change the tides.
Can as she says that, can Nyx like reach out a finger and trail it across the water a little bit and like?
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. We'll see. It's an 11.
Okay. On an 11, you make a ripple. You don't...
More for their own satisfaction.
Yeah. You don't feel a particular connection to the ripple that you're making or even to the water that you're in right now. But you're also very out of your element. And you've just come back into yourself. But I think as the Waxing Knight says this to you and you look down and you make that ripple, by the time you look back up, the shadows are still there. The Waxing Knight is gone. And you are alone in the room.
Nyx will reach up and absentmindly rub a hand down over their scars and just... He didn't even mention it. I think they were a little worried that they'd be disappointed in them somehow, even though they probably already knew. Nyx will finish bathing, get dressed as quickly as possible, and I'd like to, if I can, go down to if there's any kind of libraries in the house, and like almost begin research of the histories and try and catch up on like.
Okay, cool. You
putting
can either
pieces together.
Totally. You could make me a history check, or you could make me an investigation check. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's see which one is better for me. They're both the same. Oh, that's a 2. With 3 either way.
Okay, cool. On you doing history or investigation?
Let's do investigation first.
Great. Okay, cool. We'll get to the results of that. We'll get to the results.
I see books.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do. Well, we'll do. Vox isn't here. Oh, nope. Is great, fantastic. What does Vox do as part of her downtime? Oh, muted.
You're muted.
Wow. Did everyone want to yell at me for that? I think that Vox is exhausted, but she's super overwhelmed with emotions and just probably would go straight to her mom to talk with her, not having a lot of time to do so before,
Yeah.
and just fully embraces her mother at first and would probably go somewhere,
Yeah.
probably just leave to their rooms, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you've been set up with kind of all the entire party spaces is near each other. For Vox, being as there's so many people in your party that are particular to like that you either have relationships with or are family with, you've sort of been set up in uh, a lot of adjoining rooms that basically have these massive kind of double doors that can open up to just essentially turn what are individual rooms into larger and larger rooms the more these doors that you open up.
We've got the wing per se.
Yeah. I think one of the first things that Ravania did was actually before the long rest, after the discussion, and Food left to go find armor somewhere in the armory, as she is not wearing any, because she didn't have any in prison, and didn't have a chance to get any before you left the Red Keep. So she is going to get outfitted, but I think you're in here. Your mother is in here with you, just sort of, if you allow her, sitting next to you on the bed, just running her fingers through your hair, listening to you talk, answering questions when you have them, just sort of looking at you. You can see your uncle Theon is over in the corner, declined any sort of new dress, still wearing boots caked with mud and blood, and has brushed a little bit of it off of his tunic, but he's over in the corner honing the edges of his knives.
I want to say that Vox would do something, but I think just like being in bed and having her mom stroke her hair, as much as I want her to investigate and do things, I think Vox would knock out. I think that's like the most peace she's ever had in years, with just that familiar feeling of her mother playing with her hair, and would knock out. Just
Beautiful.
like dirty clothes and all. That's like an issue for waking up.
Yeah.
Just full relaxed.
I think without it, because it makes so much sense. I'm going to say that Vox is going to get the benefits of a long rest. I think, in addition, just for the following day until your next long rest, two things are going to happen actually, because as your mother is doing this, you're going to get. Let me make sure I'm quoting the correct spells here. You are going to get. You are going to get the effects of a bless spell the following day. However, this will last for the entire day instead of just for a minute. So for the entire this was a good day for Vox.
Yeah.
And I think in addition to that, you're going to get 6 temporary hit points too for the following day until your next long rest. So a little bit of
Beautiful.
you're going to be able to take a little bit extra, take on a little bit more. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's where Levox is just, for the first time, no other machinations, no, just for once you get to relax, and there is nothing snapping at your heels, no one chasing you down, and no guilt, because you've gone back for the people you left behind, and you've found everyone that you had lost. Atticus,
Yeah.
you immediately left after the knighting ceremony to try and catch Burgent in the halls. I think you see him walking down. You can't tell if he hears your footsteps falling behind or not, but he doesn't turn. He just keeps on heading to his quarters.
Hey, Blue Eyes, where are you going in such a rush?
You see his shoulders fall a little bit even more. And he turns around. I think it's best for both of us, Atticus, if I just get some rest. It sounds like we've got a lot to do. And, well, I'm not young anymore, and I could use the time off my feet.
I understand. I I just wanted to, before you go to bed, I just wanted to apologize to you for how I left. And I know me showing up out of the blue and causing havoc is something you're used to back in the old days, but I just wanted to tell you it's good to see you. And I apologize for how things were left, and I'm happy I can still count on you. I don't deserve it. You don't deserve the hassle of the bull in the china shop that I am, but that's all I wanted to say.
Make me a persuasion check.
That's a 7.
I accept your apology, Atticus. I'm sure you had some great and noble reason to leave. But it's been over 10 years. Not a word, not a letter. Nothing.
I know. I
No, listen, I don't think you do know. You can come and go from people's lives as much as you please, and when you come back, you haven't changed. You're the same. Who knows? Maybe forever. Time passes differently for everyone, Atticus. It did not pass the same for me as it does for you. 10 years isn't even the blink of an eye. But every stroke of my hammer, every piece of armor I finished, every shield I shaped into place, I spent so much of that time wondering what I could have done to keep you. What I could have done for you to even tell me why I had to leave. So you're here now. And I'll help you. Because what you want to do is something beautiful. And this city needs it. But do not expect me to put my heart out there again.
think I don't expect it, and I appreciate you telling me how you feel and being vulnerable. Maybe when this is all said and done, we can talk about why I left, and I owe that to you at the least.
Wow.
Not as an excuse, not as a reconciliation of how I made you feel, just for your heart and your mind. If that's something you won't want.
Go ahead and make an insight check for me.
16.
Um, '16 is pretty good. Virgin is not the type of person to hold a grudge, to make someone suffer for a way that they've wronged him or they've hurt him. That's why he's here. That's why he immediately came, because he knows that your intentions, at least when it comes to something like this, that your intentions are good and that you mean to do what you say. And to be fair, I think you were always honest with Burgent. And your very first conversation with him when your relationship began to blossom was one of taking things a day at a time. The pain that is there is not bitterness. It's not ill will towards you. It is seeing you 10 years. Burgent's a dwarf. Average lifespan is about 300 years, and he is slowly hitting the further end of middle age. In that 10 years, to see nothing changed on you, to see you as ageless as you were in the 10 years that you were with him. I think what you see is a version that is accepting that maybe what he had with you was nothing for you in your lifetime, nothing but a brief spark. While for him it was a flame that burns brighter than any he has ever had before, and most likely more than he ever will have. But you will go on to live many other lives. And I think that is really truly sinking into him for the first time. As he looks at you, get some sleep, Atticus. You're going to need it. And he turns around and walks away.
Oh, hey guys, do either of you want some warm milk? I've got some extra. I was just getting some for fun. I really do want some.
It's cow's milk.
What? Oh, yeah, I mean, I think... Which one's the cow?
The big one with the wee little horns that come out of the...
You know what? To be fair, I don't know why I asked. I didn't milk anything. I just got it out of the ice house. You know what? It's fine. I'm going to go.
Good night, Perrin. Urgent, and he's gonna like do his like noble bow, and as he turns to walk away, and he gets down, he's gonna like, usually when he's walking to his room or like getting ready, he starts to kind of take off his armor and just kind of like take it off. But when he takes off his glove, he just looks at his hand, and he notices on his hand and it's been like this for some long time now. His hand looks not like the rest of him. There are dark marks on his arm, on his hand, similar to what leprosy looks like. And he kind of whispers to himself. He's like, I left because I couldn't die in front of you. And he just kind of like says that to himself and puts the glove back on and kind of like sniffles a little bit and stands up straight and walks and goes to bed.
Yeah, Bert's already in your quarters. Tiny little trundle bed. Pull up next to your big one. Already armor's off, nightcap's on. Like,
Yeah.
up to snug as a bug in a rug.
He's that's gonna lift his spirits a little bit, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, bud, are you asleep yet?"
I'm not asleep, but I'll be honest. I think it's gonna be hard for me to sleep. It's the middle of the day, and it's just a weird. I don't know. We're on a weird schedule right now.
We're on a barkeep schedule almost.
Working the night shift, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to let you know how proud of you I am and how far you've come, and you're becoming your own person. And I just want to tell you, I will be there for you when I can. But just remember, one day you're going to be your own knight, and you're going to be on your own adventures. And time is going to pass, and we're going to be vastly different people over that time. How we look, how we are, all those things. And when that happens, I just want you to remember these moments. And remember, like a phoenix does, we don't remember the people based on how they look or how old they got or how young they are. We remember them for
being a frog instead of a toad, or a toad instead of a frog.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. We remember them for the essence of them. Yeah. Because that black phoenix is eternal.
Let me ask you a question. Atticus, you always been this smart?
Nope. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but Papa taught me some good isms, and no, I'm not. I would never say I'm a smart person.
Yeah, well.
Maybe emotionally, but I digress.
I don't remember my father, Atticus. I don't know if that's weird for a toad, but honestly, well, there's been a lot of crazy things in the last couple of weeks, but I'll tell you, it's hard for me to remember things. I don't know what kind of magic got into me and made me what I am, but I feel like I got all these memories now, being a knight and being Sir Handsome Brithophiles, and then I got all these little wavy, hazy memories of being a toad. So I don't have a lot of years on me for wisdom yet, but I'm gonna try, because I feel like that's part of being a knight too.
You wouldn't be wrong in that. You might even have you been peeking at my book while I've been asleep, Bert?
I ain't no. Go ahead and make an insight check real quick.
That's a dirty 20.
Great. That's a. Bert is visibly nervous. Well, I mean, I'm not a peaked. Well, I mean. Yeah, but can I tell you something, Atticus? I don't know how to read. I just mostly look at the pictures.
There's no pictures in the book.
Oh yeah, what are all those you got all those little, there's one that looks like a snake, and then there's another one, there's pictures, all those little pictures next to each other.
While Bert is saying this, I'm gonna like look for like scrap paper or like just something, and
Yeah,
like
you've got scrap paper
and I'm
for
gonna
sure.
write the letters out individually of
Oh, there it
common.
is. Them's the pictures.
Yeah, and when they're individual pictures, but when they're combined together, they make a bigger picture.
Yeah, like a collage.
Yeah, exactly like
He knows
collage.
the words collage.
I like your thinking.
Yeah, I love collage.
And then he's gonna write the common alphabet, and then he's gonna write Bert, and then Atticus, and then with the letters too, he's gonna try and like make the sound around it, but it's Atticus, so it's gonna be sloppy as heck. But he's gonna be like, now, look at this, look at this. Can you try and Bert,
Well, Bert, you're just saying my name. Why are you saying my name so? Oh my gosh, are these letters?
And then I'm gonna give him that, and now what
No,
I want
continue
you
to
do,
teach him all the other letters in real time.
yeah. Take your time, and we'll pick you up there's a book I liked to read as a kid. Maybe we can find it around town.
Boy, I sure would appreciate that, Atticus.
That should be able to read and write.
Yeah. Hey, Atticus, can I ask you one more thing before we go to bed?
Sure.
I know you got this great big sword, and two hands and all, and I seen you do some wild things with that sword. I done seen a night guard cut clean in half with that thing, like a
That
pair
was
of
pretty cool.
pair of kitchen
That was
shears
pretty cool.
going through an old hot dog. But my sword, I only need one hand to use it. And I was thinking maybe your friend, that blacksmith, maybe he could make me some kind of a shield.
I think tomorrow's a new day. I think once he gets his rest and we maybe sort out this issue, they're a blacksmith. I'm sure they'll make you one, and we should make you something fitting too. So think about what you want on that shield, because Virgin is one of the greatest blacksmiths I've ever come across, and will do you right. So think long and hard about what you want.
I already know what I want on it.
All right.
I want it to be a phoenix.
Atticus is like, I think that would be might as well. But if you want any personal touches on it, think about that as well.
Okay.
Because that's how
personal.
people in the lands are going to know who you are as a knight.
People are going to know who I am?
Well, buddy, if they don't already, since you joined this crew, we've made a little name for ourselves.
Boy, a famous knight, getting my own shield, and you can see just kind of mutters to himself as he pulls the blankets and kind of like rolls over. It's so exciting. Well, good night, Dad. Atticus. I'm gonna have to unpack that one later. Good night.
Good night, Bert.
Yeah, we
the lowest of lows, the highest of highs.
List of Berts.
Everyone, full benefits of a long rest. You come back together at the end of the long rest. Nix, you carry with you a book that it is a book on cake making, and cake making for nobility. These are incredibly extravagant cakes. Um, you're not certain, but you think there might be some hidden messages in here in the cake book, so you've brought it along for further study.
Oh, look, I guess the early risers are all up. A couple of us are still sleeping away. Atticus, Nyx, Vox.
Is
Who else
is
is
it
awake?
like morning now? Is it daytime?
No,
mean,
it's
it's
actually because you
nighttime
slept
now.
through the day, so now
Oh,
it is
brilliant.
nighttime. I will say
Ah.
you've gone through the quarters. You have not found number one, the cat's not here and Fauna's not here. Number two, Mori is not here, and also your host Orin is nowhere to be seen.
Wow, just
Uh,
finally some time. We haven't like sat down in a while, gang. Like, gosh, it's kind of weird that we don't have any other people floating around. I wonder where Fauna and Perrin are.
What?
Nyx is gonna turn around and look and see if the little bit of sand is still following in their shadow, and speak to it as if it's a fully formed automaton.
Yeah, as if I think you named it last time. It
Yeah.
elected to call itself the Burning Sands, and
Burning
you
Sands, yes.
gave it the short name of Bernie. Make a perception check for me.
Okay. Oh gosh, yeah, that's 5. I can't be sure if it's dust in the cracks or not.
Yeah, it's again like there are lots of windows in this estate, but it is I think one night past the new moon, so it's still a fairly lightless sky. It's pretty dark out there. It's hard to you don't really see. I mean, it's hard to have much of a shadow in here anyway. You don't since almost everything is kind of shadow. From the lighting that's in here too, but you don't see any sand.
Hey, Bert, squire duty of the day. I would like you to find your fellow brothers in arms. Perrin will stay here with me, but go find them, get them, go to the armory of the state, get them fitted, and
That's Orin, and that's all them little red fellas running around, right?
the Burning Sands, I believe.
Burning
to call
sand.
them
Yep,
little.
Burning. Bernie. Sounds kind of close to Bert.
And with that, I like the house has not been kept in good condition, right?
And actually, because of the it's in pretty. Not only is it clean, it's been kept in a pretty good state of repair. I mean, Nix, when you went to the library, it was a well kept library. No mothy. I mean, certainly there's some older books there that are in the condition that you would expect older books to be in.
Nyx
Moths have not
definitely
gotten
like
these books.
inhaled
There's not a
the
lot.
old
Yeah,
book smell.
there was not a lot of dust even in the library. So these automatons, I think, do what maintenance they can.
Bert, you're in charge of getting them fitted, and I think this is going to be a base for a while. So make sure to take notes and mental notes to repeat to me, or you can practice writing as well, and to fortify the spot in case of any incursions or anything like that. Does that sound good to you?
Official armor to the Knights of the Phoenix. It is. It's no problem, Atticus. I'll get right. And you see him go clambering down the hallway.
That reminds me, how's those knives doing, Vox? The bag of knives, how's your knives doing?
Perrin, they're doing great. We haven't. They're here. What do you mean? What's wrong with the knives?
There's nothing wrong. I just wanted to know how, like, because there's a bunch of new knives. Like, are they sharp? I didn't look at them all.
I've been resting finally for the first time, and you want to know about the 13 knives you threw at me?
Well, okay, look, if they're bad knives, I get it. I'm sorry that they're bad. I don't here
No, they're my
here.
knives.
Perrin
Parent,
holds his bow
parent,
out.
Parent was trying to do a nice thing, y'all.
You want the
Oh.
arrows? Here's the arrow. Take them. Take my arrows too.
Nyx
Fox
is going to move
snaps
into
the bow
position
and
to
arrows.
block them just in case Perrin decides to throw arrows at Vox, just like he did with the knives.
Oh
He
God.
hands them in a very normal way.
Y'all, I think I think we have some talking to do as a group.
Right.
I think a lot has happened in the past couple days, and
Say
I
that
think
again.
we need to unpack that a little bit first and foremost, and then figure out what we're doing.
Right.
Obviously, Vox, how are you? What's going on? I know the last couple days have been a lot for you.
I just got the best rest of my entire life. I feel great, but I don't know what we're supposed to do next. They're still gonna want to come after me. I don't know what we're supposed to do to get that bounty off my head. And then I don't know, is my mom gonna take over? Is that what we came here to do? I still thought we were framing that guy for what we did. I thought that was the plan, but you told me that's not the plan, so I'm a little confused there.
Well, I think
I mean, that's
well
still on the table.
they took a knee. I mean, that's your brother in arm now, Perrin.
Right, but
He
it's
said
still
he
on the
wanted to
table.
commit crime.
Well, once you take a vow of knighthood with the Knights of the Phoenix, better not. But with that being said,
Hmm.
I think they're more use alive to us right now. Um, I think obviously we still got to worry about your former boss, Vox.
Mira, I was wondering what the time was. When can we expect a vampire to knock on our doors?
Whoa, they're a vampire? Wait, whoa,
Who the
Yeah.
fuck are we even talking about?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you were not there for that.
You say boss, but more like
Contractor.
contract work. Yeah, not
Okay.
particularly my boss, but she'll definitely be mad and she'll probably most definitely be showing up. But guess that's probably what this evening, maybe. That sounds right.
Hmm.
I will say, just to interject real quick too, something that is we didn't discuss Vox, but your mother would have discussed it like after the rest and waking up, is that she elected to return to the castle. I mean, with Balak being gone, um, she's it's known to most of us probably that she was his sister. That would put naturally with his apparent passing or disappearance, that would put her at least in kind of the same way that Balak was a temporary fill-in for the Lord Edgersalt until a new magistrate could be elected. That would put her as the regent, being a blood relative, and having Ravania there at her side. Most of the royal guard, now that Ravania has been liberated, most of the royal guard is going to fall back to Ravania's side. So while you are still Balak being gone is going to be a problem for the Fawn, for the Council of Salt, who wants someone that is under their thumb, in charge up in the Red Keep. For now, you really don't actually have to worry about the disappearance of Balak or any of your actions. I mean, the 30 royal guard that probably would have been more loyal to Balak and were actively looking for Vox as the killer of the Lord Edgersalt, those 30 royal guard are dead. And so that's easy enough to explain away as just insurgents in the castle, and we don't know what happened to Balak, but Balak disappeared, and now I'm here and I'm his sister.
Mm.
So that problem, at least for now, like the immediacy of like, oh God, is the royal guard going to be hunting us? That problem is solved, taken care of. You now have the larger problem of like, number one, you told Mira that you would meet back with her and deliver the orb on the following night, which is tonight. And number two, based off of what you were told by even the power structures that be, the fawn, Vorn Dominicus, is not going to be happy to hear that Balak is gone, and someone not under his thumb, i.e. your mother, Eva, is now the temporary regent for Asparia.
Atticus is gonna like brush a table off and like put his map down, his like cool magic map, because I feel like he's traveled enough around where we can at least like look at a map and see the districts of the town and see like what's going on. So to level with all of you, this Fawn character, I don't know them particularly, but I know their parental units, their father. They tried to do the same thing to this area a long time ago. Actually, Vox, I'm just so you know, I didn't know your relation, but your father was a great man, and I fought at their side years ago with Burgent as well, and we killed the Fawn that was trying to do the same thing that was taxing the land, treating people under your father's rule awfully, and I didn't know they had an offspring. I didn't know they had a child, but
sibling actually.
Sibling.
I think you would know from the timeline. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that they had other fawns in the group that wanted to do this. I didn't know it was more of a syndicate. I thought it was just a singular operation. But it's a little personal now to me that we didn't stomp out the root of it all. But to me, there are multiple ways we can go about this, or it's really up to y'all. I'm not asking you to help fix something from my past, but this feels like I need to do it to be good by your father, Vox, and to be good by the kingdom that conscripted me years ago to help.
Can I just throw something out here? Like, this is a complicated political situation. We've got like a city and like a deposed king and then a new ruler and like disappearances and things like that. Like, do we know that the people are just gonna accept one ruler, or do we want to be in the middle of this? Because if we go after this Fawn and we kill somebody on whatever council he's on, and we've like, at what point are we just asking for trouble? Like, I want to keep Fauna safe. I want to keep all of you safe. I kind of want to try to do the right thing, but also, is it smart to stay here? Maybe we let some of this settle before we go around murdering fawns? Don't be wrong, I'm all on board with murdering fawns. That's fine by me. But maybe we let this thing breathe before we start going top to bottom. Yeah, turning like Ava's gonna your mom, who I definitely not somebody that I know from my past for any reason for specifically, but if she says, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take over," everybody don't worry about this. And then we start working our way down the city council killing people. Isn't that maybe gonna make people upset that she's in charge? Isn't that gonna make people maybe suspicious of her taking charge and maybe cause some unrest that we don't want to cause?
I think that's a fair point.
I think that's the most level-headed thing you've ever said. We're going to talk about the other thing you said, though, later.
What about the knives? Look, if they're not good, I'll look for new knives. I'm sorry.
Not the
Love
knife.
for Perrin is terrifying. Also incredibly smart.
I think Burgent, who is present right now. And also, Vox, your uncle Theon remained, but Eva's more than capable of finding her own way back to the Red Keep, and knows that Ravania is there. But Theon remained behind with the groups. He's kind of in the corner. Every time Perrin mentions knives, he's sort of looking up and testing all the individual knives that you've sort of like left with him to sharpen as he's flicking them into.
How qualified is he?
Hold on just a sec. I'm going to make a little... Yeah, that's an 18 on the die. You ask that question, a knife goes fly, and just like right next to you, just enough so that it almost shaves a hair off the back of your hand, just sticks right into the table.
See, that's what I mean. That's a terrible throw. You didn't hit me at all.
Oh, I like him.
Doesn't speak up, doesn't even look up, just keeps... but Burgeon is going to speak up. Listen. Whether your party, Atticus, chooses to move or not, I should tell you right now, there were already plans in motion to overthrow the Council of Salt, and Vorn in particular. There's a lot of people out there who are very unhappy with the state of Asparia right now, and with the what some people thought unjust arrest of Ravania Brighthand, very beloved captain, protector of not just Asparia but her people as well. There's people here who are ready for a change, so do what you will, but with or without she, we're planning to shake things up.
I think I have to see this through.
You're not the only one, friend.
Vox
I
is gonna.
know you feel responsible for not ending the Fawn's line when you had the chance, but
I could
there's
have
a
said
little
clean
bit of-
off too. Like I thought there was just one. Like it was a beautiful swing.
you tried your best.
Virgin can attest that
Aye,
it was a
fine
clean
swing.
kill.
Fox is gonna clutch the teeth in her pocket, and I want to finish what my father started.
Okay, there's just one other thing we have to talk about, which is the fact that that guy whose face I pulverized, Balak? I don't remember. I was really drunk that night. I don't know if you all noticed, but I was like kind of inebriated a little bit. He was not working alone. Like there are other people involved. Like his weird creepy teeth, there were other creepy teeth. Like this is not a new thing. Somebody's been doing this. Somebody's been manipulating these things. Somebody's been causing these events. They're not going to be fine with us just having a good time. So again, like that's fine. Let's kill a fawn. Let's kill all the fawns. Let's whatever. Like I mean, maybe not all the fawns. That's probably too extreme. Judge them by the content of their character, not by their hoofed feet. But my point is, whoever that was.
Did you steal my night book too?
What?
Did
What
you
do
steal
mean?
my night book as well?
No. Do you have separate books depending on day and night?
No. That was an astute observation. I like that. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks
I
for
just
that
mean like
correction.
there's gonna be other things to happen, and I don't want to be mind controlled again. So I want to figure out who those people were and not allow them to hurt my daughter.
And I'll be right there with you. I also have some unfinished business, and can Nyx actually share what they know of the speakers to them?
Yeah, you can. I think to like recapping that. I mean, because I can recap that knowledge too, or you can do it.
Just quick summary will probably be a lot better than I can do.
Yeah, I mean, Nyx would be able to relate your experience with the speakers was, it's long, and I think that a lot of those memories are going to take time to come back, and would be, but you do certainly remember that initial memory that you had of being locked into the jewel, into servitude when it came to the jewel by the speakers. And are you choosing to share at this time?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. No. I think they'll just summarize it as like they're the reason that this whole thing started for them.
Yeah.
And trust that that's not something we're going to breeze past. It's not something we're going to leave to come haunt us later. It's on the top of my priorities list as well. But as far as where we're at now and the hospitality we've received from our hosts and from Virgin as well, Vorn, if left unchecked, is going to destroy any hope of progress this city has, and hope of progress that Fox's mom has of potentially turning this place around. And Atticus, you're not the only one who feels responsible for this. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a choice in the matter, but I did assist in the elimination of some council members, and I feel
What
like
are
some
what are you
stability.
saying, Nix? What did you do?
And Nix is going to look at Vox. I didn't know you at the time. If I did, I never would have. If I had a choice in the matter, I never would have done it at all. But I'm sorry, Vox. I did kill Grace.
Vox is kind of going to take a step back, having known her family history, and just breathe. She first instinct is probably to go into rage and anger, but she's going to take a deep breath and be like, we all did things we didn't want to do because of Balak. So I don't blame you for the actions that you couldn't control. But she's going to turn away from June after saying that. That is probably from Nyx, the most that she can muster up without letting the rage take over.
Nyx is completely taken aback. Like, they were fully expecting, like, they would just stand there and, like, get whatever free blow you wanted, like, even if you were gonna fucking stab them. And
you say that
think
about
they're
Grace.
almost more pained and, like, disturbed by your weird forgiveness than they are any kind of righteous rage.
Theon hears you say that. If anyone is looking over in that corner, the moment that you say that,
I forgot he was in the room.
Freezes, looks up, stops the sharpening of the knives, hears what you say, Vox, stands up, large man, not quite as tall as Atticus, but maybe a little bit broad, like just massive, big wingspan on this guy. He's nearing, or might actually be, he's right around 60. So he's older, which makes his size maybe all the more impressive. longer white hair pushed back. So going to stride over, and on the way, Vox just lets his hand rest on your shoulder for a moment as he walks by. He walks right up to you,
Nyx
Nyx.
is going to turn to face him, and they don't show fear so much as resignation. And I think they will actually, so they have their hood, and their mask is usually down and hanging, and up when they're fighting. And they're going to hook a finger in and almost like drag it open to expose their neck. And it's what little skin you can see is heavily scarred. And I think they're just going to kind of rest and like, it's your blow to take. I owe you that much.
Roll me a... We're going to call this a persuasion check.
Aaron's gonna sidle over to Atticus and he's gonna whisper, "Who's Grace?"
Atticus, like, you see him close his eyes to like go in the Rolodex of his brain of just like lineages of
Yeah.
family lines, and he's gonna great. That was I believe in lineage Vox's grandmother.
Oh my god, so Nyx killed her, and then that's Theon's mom?
Yes.
That was a 15.
That's so dramatic.
On a 15, Theon reaches up. He pulls down the tunic a little bit, and you just see that there is still fresh bandage from where Vox like
Turned him into Swiss cheese.
Yeah, got him through the heart. Got him through the heart when he stepped in front of the blade that was meant for Balak, while being under Balak's enchantments. Reveals it. I'm not sure it's gonna be easy to forgive you, but we both bear scars. From the same cruelty. So, I don't know. I don't know what that means for you and me. But I know I killed a lot of people. I probably killed a lot of people that were someone's mother too, so it doesn't make us even. But it doesn't make me hate you either. And he's going to turn and walk back to Vox, look down at you. I don't know what you're planning on doing, little tornado, but I'm going to go on ahead to the House of the Five Tongues and keep an eye on your friend there. And
I appreciate that.
yeah, gives you a squeeze and walks out of the room.
Atticus, like I said before, I want to finish what my father started, so I'm with you.
Nyx is going to somewhat hang their head and hey, it's my mess to clean up.
I think well, shoot. I mean, I knew from the jump that I get another crack at the phones with Vox Winvalor. I think your father would love that, and it feels full circle to me. Um, Blue, I mean, sorry, Virgin. Um, what what is the Fawn control in town? What is the Do they own shops? Do they own the trade routes? What is their reach in this town?
Seem like a bathhouse kind of guy. Are they a bathhouse kind of guy?
I wish they were about.
Like a weird, sexy fawn in a bathhouse?
Um, I'll tell you, used to make more public appearances, but the phone's got eyes and ears everywhere. But it's been more than a few years since he's made any kind of public appearances.
Well, we had to break down the door of his brother's place to get to him. But is there
He's looked up pretty
anything we
tight.
can do to bring him out?
I have a question. Can in any of the past dealings, can Nyx is like a lot of the architecture tends to be like passed down through family, tends to be really old, tends to just be, restored rather than rebuilt. Is in any of past communications or assassinations or anything like do they know of a way to get into Vorn's fort, like any?
Okay, you need to do two things.
Okay.
First, you're going to roll an insight check that has that
Okay.
lower DC that we talked about to remember.
What was the lower DC?
You're looking to hit a 10 or higher on an insight check.
That hits. That's 13.
Okay. Make me just a general investigation check.
Okay. Point for that. Nat 20. That was a 2 to a nat 20.
Do we want to take our bathroom break real quick and then I'll come back and give you the results of a nat 20 on to remember. Okay, cool.
Yes, please.
Let's do it. We'll be back in like 10.
Perfect.
Business
Yeah,
to
what
And
y'all
to
heal
want to
defeat
our
do?
the
trauma.
Huns. The Huns.
Um. Okay.
So
The
our
results
plan is to
of it, the nat 20. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
right,
do you want it? Do you want to make a plan, or do you want the results of the nat 20 on the investigation
Can we
check
hold
first?
on that for just a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think before we dive all into like infiltrating Vorin, next is first things first. Even if Mira hasn't put it together by now already, that we're not going to show up with her orb, she definitely knows about what I did to Nath. And she's going to try and hunt us down. Does she know that we're staying here?
I don't think anyone knows. I mean, you rolled pretty high in your perception to see if you were being followed, and you didn't see a soul.
Okay.
So as far as you know, no one knows you're here. You know, you came
So we
here
have
in the
we have
wee
some
hours
time
of the
bought
morning. Yeah.
in that regard.
I'm gonna look at Burgent and just say, are the fawn and the vampire in bed together business wise?
I mean, hell, personally too is fine.
Yeah, I mean if they are as well. That's
I'm
actually a cute
not
couple.
sure on
It would
that
be
account,
so convenient.
but what I do know is Mira's been working for the phone for some time now. Ever since she's been a figure to be known in Asparia.
Is it mutually beneficial, or is it kind of more like, hey, you better do this, or you better work for me, or else? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from the fawn
Is there a
personally.
wedge we can draw there?
That I do not know, but it's possible I might know someone who does. I can reach out to them for information if it would be helpful.
Do you trust them?
With my life.
Then I trust them as well. And Atticus is going to kind of like look at the map and kind of, all right, I don't know about y'all, but I'm personally tired of kicking down doors and sneaking around.
Okay.
Do love a
I
sneak, though.
well, I think in my little brain, I think I got a plan. Now, hear me out. I think I figured out roles for everybody. I think instead of going in and taking someone out at their base, let's bring the fawn to us. Um, from what it looks like, Burgent, please chime in, but they control shops, they control trade routes, and it sounds like the people of Asparia are pretty fed up with it already. So why don't we just take them down, plunder their trade routes, destroy their stores? The fawn's not going to be able to resist coming out. They're going to have to deal with this firsthand. And if we do
Respectfully,
that,
Atticus, I think that's the least likely thing to draw him out. He has enough people under his thumb, and the only ones who are going to be hurt are the shopkeepers themselves, the ones who still rely on those trade routes to make their livelihood and feed their families with what little money they can scrape together under his thumb.
and you don't think the fawn would have people employed at his shops that were involved with him?
I think
Do
he
you think
I know
everyone
he
is
does.
altruistic? They're just
I
doing it
know
because
he
they have
does,
to?
but they're all grunts. It
Aren't
won't
people
draw
going to
him
suffer
out.
either way, though? We're talking about taking out the head of an organization. The people who work for him are going to suffer regardless.
There is a power vacuum that will be created, but it will be filled with the right people. And Nyx is going to look towards Burgent and is going to look towards Vox as if to imply, like her mom.
All I'm saying is we enact the trade route that my family was a part of, and these shops don't align with that. I don't think.
You want to pull them to our side?
I think I'm not trying to be the leader in this. I'm not trying to be like, look what Atticus did, look what Perrin did, look what Box did. It sounds like the people want to retake their city as is, and we're just giving them the edge to do it.
I would feel more
Burgent.
comfortable with that plan based on my kind of previous issues that I had with us doing multiple overthrows in a row anyway. Like, we
Burgent,
should
you
maybe
said
go
there was
out of
already-
the city and interrupt trade routes.
Burgent, you said there was already a plan in motion that was going to be enacted whether we joined or not. What is that plan?
Nothing laid out in stone, but there are various takes within the group on whether we ought to confront the fawn on his home turf or attempt to bring him out. I'm going to give you the results of that nat 20 on the investigation
Okay.
now. Nyx.
Can I add an emphasis on that?
Yeah.
I want to know if I can think of anything else on top of that that he values.
Ooh. Okay, cool. You can get that for a nat 20. You would know, being in the service of Balak for the amount of time that you were, there were a lot of jobs that you did that were for Balak specifically, but also occasionally Balak would send you out on errands, things to do for the Fawn specifically, and other members of the Council of Salt, but mainly the Fawn being the controlling member. I think that you would know that one of the pacts involved with the Council of Salt, there's only a few remaining noble houses that are even part, and they have very little actual pull or sway. The Fawn is the boss, if you will, kind of the end all be all, and the others are just really there for support. You know, he can call on their resources if need be, but his resources are more vast than any of the other noble houses in Asparia put together. However, one of the pacts or tenets to being a part of the Council of Salt is that any member can call the council together if there is something that they wish to discuss. This meeting place, you've been there. It is basically a what would the right word be? Not quite catacomb, but it is beneath the city itself. This meeting place for the Council of Salt. There's a direct tunnel there that leads from every one of the estates who is currently or has ever been a member to the Council of Salt that will lead to this. And there is basically, you can summon the entire council, and then every member, including the Fawn, would be beholden to meet in this space.
Nyx is going to communicate this to everyone. Why don't we just do the best of both worlds? Draw them out, but into a place we control.
I don't think we build a foundation for a good city by assassinating someone.
I think if we're going to do it this way, then the city, it needs to be two-pronged, and the city needs to be ready to take control of those routes and those stores. Basically, a snake with two heads and cutting it off on both ends. I'm sure these stores and these people who are directly working for the Fawn aren't. There could be some good people there. I'm not. But if you go down that route of thinking that, then everything. I'm sure knights we killed or guards we killed, they were good people. Shit, Perrin stabbed a man that wanted to make eyeglass holders. But I want to make sure we do it right if we're going to do it, because it can't be one head cut off and then one of his lackeys or this contractor, as Vox put it, just fills that power vacuum.
Yeah, look, I mean, I hate to repeat the whole situation here, but this problem exists because Atticus went in hot and heavy with the sword, and did it solve the problem? No, it didn't, because somebody else came in and did the exact same thing. So yeah, sure, let's kill the Fawn. That doesn't solve the problem underlying this in the city. If we're talking about helping the city because Vox's mom is going to take over, that's a bigger problem. There's gonna be another Fawn, metaphorically.
Then what do you propose,
Literally.
Perrin?
I think Burgeon.
I'm just.
Yeah, Burgeon's going to take Perrin, to piggyback off of what Burgeon speaks up. I mean, you see his eyes light up with when you speak of Nyx, when you reveal that information about the summoning for the council. and the space beneath the city that you know about, you see Burgeon's eyes light up. Like, this is information that even he was unaware of. Our initial plan, whether we went to fight him on his own turf or brought him out in the open, was always to hold him and Balak, although it appears there's no more Balak to hold accountable. It was always to hold the Fawn accountable. That's one of the reasons why it was so important to secure Ravania's release from the dungeon, so that she, as the captain of the Royal Guard, could be there to hold
Do you mean
order.
a trial?
And a trial. I mean, there's a lot of people in Asparia who are perhaps unaware of the Fawn's darker dealings and would think of him only as a respected tradesman, but more than a few families and businesses know the darker things that the Fawn deals in, and would be willing to testify in a public space. A public trial was always what we aimed for.
So long as that trial doesn't become rigged because they are afraid of being outed for colluding with him.
That's why we stir up unrest in the city. That's why we break power structures underneath that. We get the people uncomfortable. Even innocent people, we make them uncomfortable. We upset the system that exists, and then those people can have justice.
Well, if it's unrest you want the cause in order to reveal things, I mean, we've got more than a few people on our side already, but with a lot of you, I'm sure I could come up with quite a few things you could do to reveal the darker parts of his business.
I don't want you to think that I just want to cause chaos, Nyx. I am just speaking from a parent called me out. I was hired to come in and do this, and I came in hot and heavy, and I just came in, swung my sword, and thought we didn't talk about it ever again. We thought it was done. So I just want to make sure we're talking this through and doing the right thing by the people, because ultimately we're going to leave. I'm not staying in Asparia. I have no plans to settle down here. I will be going back to the Southern Green at some point in my life. So whatever we leave for the people, I want it to be for the people, by the workers, by everything. So don't take what I'm saying as just shutting it down. It's more just, I want to make sure I do it right this time. I do it right by Nyx's dad, and I do it right by the people of Asparia.
Fox's dad. I understand. We're trying a different way. If anyone understands the habit of getting used to wanting to cut things off cleanly in one swipe, it's me. But I'm not used to the public things, the loud things, but maybe it's the right call in this situation. Vox, you've been strangely quiet. This is largely your family name at risk here too, as well, if it does go public. How do you feel about it?
I don't think that that's my family name at risk. I think it would be restoring my family name, clearing both my own and leaving my mother a clean reign to rule.
So, yeah, it's, as someone who's ruled over land, it's usually not, there's a full sweep. I'm sure most of us have been involved with those things are have even had to govern over them. Um, but really, I'll give room for Burgeon to have the voice. They live here. This is their city. This is their life. What is best case scenario for you and the people of the city?
I think the sooner we can remove the phone from power, the better. I think it's probably best if I relay what I've learned here today to our members. And I know it sounds like you've got a whole thing to deal with, the Fang at the House of the Five Tongues. Maybe we pick a time later tonight to meet. But it's probably best I get this information back to them as quickly as possible. And I will return here once I have. I think without waiting for leave, Burgent is going to sort of stand up and kind of like nod to the group of you. And as he goes to walk away, Vox, you are sitting there taking this all in, thinking about your father, thinking about his legacy, the ties to your family, thinking about the restraint that you watched your uncle show. And you receive a message, a sending sent. Darling, didn't expect to be kept waiting. Found an older gentleman here who says he's your uncle. Just wondering when you might find the time to stop by.
That's just heard in Vox's head?
Yep.
She has do not
Sending
disturb
spell.
on.
Do not disturb on. I think Vox immediately would put her hands down on the table in a stand and just look around and be like, this Mira problem might need to be dealt with sooner than we all anticipated. I think that my uncle has been found spying on her, and I'm not willing to risk losing any more family. So why don't we start the unrest there?
Is this a vampire? Could somebody explain? I still don't know who is this person.
Yeah,
We
she's
can
a
explain it
friend,
on the
colleague.
a coworker. I think we can explain it on the way.
He's a bitch.
You
I
hear
out of
stuff
character
like
have
that.
no idea.
Atticus, I'm having a heck of a time getting armor to stay on these sand fellas. Every time I do, they just keep collapsing into piles, and I'm really not sure what to do.
That's my bad, Bert. I meant more just like arm them with weapons that, like, they don't really need armor. They can form sand around weapons.
Right. Oh, well, okay then. I'll get it figured out. Don't you worry.
Well, we should. I mean, this is needs to be handled. So let's handle this first, and then see what happens from it.
Your
Is it that this
uncle, you
person wanted-
said
Sorry. Wait. What did they
Your
want?
uncle Vox, you said he might have been spotted spying on her. Is he held hostage right now? Was it a threat?
Knowing Mira, everything's a threat. And
I mean,
Fox is.
oh,
I would like to gather
care.
all 13 of my sharpened knives.
Yeah,
That
for sure.
13.
How far away is the mountain, the Black Mountain place from here?
Ooh, Black Mountain is it's pretty far. The Noble District, like distance wise, because I think it took you a few hours to get from the Black Mountain to the Red Keep, which is the Red Keep is sort of at the front of the Noble District, then, with most of the estates and things like that being behind the Red Keep, further from the entrance to the city. I think from where you're at to the Black Mountain, yeah, it's probably also like a few hours. Certainly, the House of the Five Tongues is going to be closer. Which
Baron
is
is going to look at his tarot card.
You go to pull out the card. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Nyx is also going to, just without explaining anything, get up, like push off from the table, and step over, not necessarily out of the room, but like they want privacy and a quiet space. And party just sees them sit down on the floor and like pull their hood in tighter, and they just start mumbling to themselves and like weaving shadows around, and almost like drawing in more and more shadows from the room about them. And I'm going to cast clairvoyance, and I'm going to cast it inside Mira's office.
Ooh. Yeah, inside that main room that you're in.
Yes. And I'm going to choose. What do you think, crew? Should I choose seeing or hearing?
Ooh, yep.
Go with your gut.
If I choose seeing, can I do a roll to try and read lips?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, then I'll do that.
Cool. You choose seeing as you cast clairvoyance. There is a little luck check here, actually. You want a high number. That's an 8. There's no one in the room.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep that up.
Cool.
And if she does walk in or somebody else does.
Yep.
Also, I don't know, looking at anything like papers on the desk or like any kind of other context clues I can get. But you can go to the tarot card.
Cool.
I rolled a 23.
Okay. On a 23, you look at the card. You see now on the card is an illustration similar to the quarters, where you say, or really actually similar to the, I guess not the quarters, the room that you're actually in now. If you all kind of went back to the dining room, that initial room that you were in, that is the room that you see now on the card. There is a door also on the card, just in the center of the room. On the card, not in the actual room. And as you look at this on a 23, Perrin, you see the door on the card open just enough that you can see through it to the other side. It's just dark on the other side. But you hear the same voice that you heard the last time you entered into an actual door like this in space. Are we going to... We're going to have to figure this out sooner or later, you and I. You keep coming through my space, and I let you do it once. You gave me a gift. You did it again, and you went right over my head to do it. Tell me, how would you feel right now if I put a little door of my own in that cabin and let that thing that you've locked away in here right back in the room with you now?
I think I'd deal with him the same way I did last time. I think I'd smother his head in his own flesh. I think I'd spread his blood around the room, and I think you're a liar. I think these are my doors. I don't think you know what you're talking about, and I think you're scared, otherwise you wouldn't try to make deals.
Give me a wisdom saving throw real quick.
That doesn't make me feel good. Dirty 20, though.
Okay. On a dirty 20, you feel a sharp prick at the base of your skull. You are going to just take 3 points of psychic damage as you feel it. The door on the card begins to burn. You watch flames, not actual flames on the card, but flames like in the image of the card begin to lick around the flame of the door, consuming it. You have no idea who I am. You talk awfully big for a ranger, Perrin Miliamne. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You've got friends. I've got friends too. Some of my friends would love to have a little chat with some of your friends. So maybe I just let that happen. And next time you think a little bit harder before you run your mouth off at me and try and use my space. And you can see those flames now erupt out of the card. The card begins to actively burn in your hand. Are you holding onto the card as it burns?
Yes.
Okay. You hold on to it as it burns. You're going to take 3 points of fire damage as the flames begin to lick up your arm. Do you continue to hold the card?
Almost strangely casually, he's going to shake out the flames and toss the card, and as he does, he's going to say, Sounds like the words of a bully who's scared and confused.
You don't hear an answer back. The card hits the floor. There's no, the fire on your arm is out. You're not going to take any more damage. The card hits the floor, still burning. Begins to crackle.
This is a horrible time to do parlor tricks,
Atticus,
Baron.
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ah, fuck. That's a nat 20.
Okay. All right, let's go. Those Atticus dice are doing you favors too.
Yeah, but I've been rolling more low end stuff.
Okay.
I've just gotten a lot of advantage on stuff.
Yeah.
with
Okay.
these.
Okay, great. That's the one that I want. Okay.
Yeah, Atticus is just going like, this is a weird time, and then just sees the fire.
If he sees the fire, roll me an insight check right now.
That's a 5.
Okay. On a 5, you see the fire. You feel something begin to stir deep inside of you, burning, traveling up. You feel pain on your forearm. Just a dull ache. On a 5 insight, as you look into the fire, you know that if you keep looking, you're going to see something, but you have no idea what it is. Do you continue to look at the fire?
No. Atticus is like, nope, like just kind of like massaging his forearm and like, we should go. We should take care of this. Vox, Perrin, Nyx, you ready?
Nyx is not listening. They're fully off in their own thing, still muttering to themselves. Shadow is like pouring in and just like swirling around them.
This looks really cool, but
I need to go get my uncle.
Atticus is like, this is already fucking cool.
Does Perrin
Nick,
still feel
he's
any
like a little,
connection
he's
to
a
the
little
doors?
like, Nyx, hey, Nyx, we're leaving. We're gonna go deal with this vampire coworker thing.
Their head turns towards you slowly, but their eyes are like pitch black, like pupilless. They're not seeing anything. They can hear you, but they're seeing the office right now.
Okay, well, we're gonna go, I guess.
Does Perrin still feel a connection to the doors at all right now?
Roll me another Arcana check.
6?
Did you say 6?
Yeah.
You don't feel anything.
Feel anything? Oh.
It feels like a
boy.
door was like slammed in your face
Oof.
just now.
Okay.
Woof.
Can I while Atticus is saying this, Nyx is going to like pause with one hand and like just hold up a finger, like wait a moment. And do I see any kind of like any context clues, any belongings of the uncle on the desk, any like papers, anything that we can use?
So tell me, you're looking, make an investigation check, and then you're looking, what kind of information are you looking for?
Mainly I want to know if like Vox's uncle is like actively being held hostage, or if that was just a threat of like we see him snooping around.
Right. You don't see anything in the room. You don't see any papers. I mean, this is the same room that Mira was in. Yeah, what's the investigation check?
Okay. Also, I'd like to look for anything. Nat 20.
Two nat 20
Anything related
investigation check.
to like Mira and Vor.
The next combat is going to be a bummer.
Ones
Truly.
and ones and ones and
I
ones.
always have the worst rolls or like somewhat good ones in a row.
You do not. You still don't see. You don't see any papers on the desk. You don't see any signs of Vox's uncle. In the corner of the room, you do see the spear that Benath, the orc servant,
I knew you
of
were.
Mir
Why
had,
did I know you were gonna do that?
and it is snapped in half.
Jesus. All right. Cool. Nyx snaps out of it and rises, and I'm with you. Let's go.
Perrin puts the fire out. And if there's anything left of the card, he'll put that in a pocket.
Ooh, you know what? Why don't you roll me a luck check? You're looking for a higher number.
Just flat roll.
Flat roll.
18.
18. On an 18, you put the fire out. You go to it's you know, this blackened little piece now of the edges have burned away. There's no more visible image on the front. As you turn it, I think as you raise it to investigate and see if you can see anything more, it is going to just kind of almost fall like into ash. But as it does, you do not smell what you would expect. It's not soot, it's not ash, it's not burnt paper. It is the familiar smell, even though it is so long distant in your memory, it is the familiar smell of the Golden Shores, where you were born and where you last saw your mother. It's kind of that sea breeze mixed with golden fields of wheat.
Yeah, Perrin's going to take in a big, deep whiff of that, and then he's going to shake it off his hand and turn and follow the others.
Okay. All right. You are headed back with some amount of
Real
urgency
quickly.
now. Yeah, to the House of the Five Tongues.
When Perrin kind of joins the party, Nyx is going to turn to Perrin and I know you have hesitations to wantonly kill, rightly so, but when we first met and you freed me out of that locket, you told me when I found somebody that I wanted to kill, to come to you and give you a name. Well, I have a name for you, and it is Mira. Can I count on you to help us in this? Your safety will always be my priority, but selfishly, I want something for myself now.
This person means that much to you?
Yes.
Okay. I hear you. Something I wish you would consider. How many problems have you actually solved by killing? And Perrin's gonna walk away.
Damn.
Yeah, I think as you leave, we will probably
Scholar
leave.
Perrin
Like,
today.
I'll let you do your.
That's the
because-
thing is that's Perrin's guilt, by the way. Like Perrin knows that. Like that's Perrin has also killed a lot of people to try to solve problems, and it doesn't work. So like he's kind of on the same page. He gets it, but
Yeah.
also like,
It's like I'll do it, but ponder the orb on this.
yeah, I'm not saying Perrin's not gonna kill Mira, but like,
No, it's good character development. Meanwhile, Nyx is like, do what I've always done, but this time actually have choice in the matter.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean like Perrin will still be unhinged and kill Eyeglass Guy all over again. He has zero regrets about cutting that guy's throat because he's like, yeah, worth it.
I got danglies for my readies, so you know.
Yeah. Are we walking right now? Are we
I
just
mean,
plowing through the front
yeah,
doors?
I think you're headed to the House of the Five Tongues. Instead of getting into, there'll be, depending on how you want to do it, there'll be stealth checks. There's a lot of, but I think we'll probably leave off with you like headed to the House of the Five Tongues, and that way, it's probably better for you two because then Fauna
and
and
Thaddeus
Maury
can
have a
jump
chance
in.
to join
Yeah.
before you
Fauna and Maury.
immerse yourself into the midst of this. They just slept
Yep.
a little longer than everyone else for good reason. So yeah, I think we'll
Every
end it there,
time
and then we'll
Perrin
be...
walks through a doorway, from now on, he's gonna see if he feels any special door energy.
I love it. Okay, cool. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back next week with another session
Bye,
of Castle Run.
guys. Bye-bye.
Peace up, A-Town.